Welcome to the maiden edition of Storytelling on the CA Network. Join us every Friday at 5 p.m. as we recount life experiences from an unpublished manuscript titled The Driver. If you are joining the CA Network for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment and share. Everyone's contribution is appreciated. It's said in local parlance that while a mother knows who his baby's dad is, the dad knows the difference between his children. No one has the foresight to determine a half-baked or purebreed son than his father. Schmidt's relationship with the father, Esume, was a good example. While villagers saw in Schmidt, Smith, a young man with outstanding qualities, exhibiting exceptional characteristics that qualified him as a true child of the village. He was obedient, intelligent, attentive, and almost excellent in all he did. Villagers thought they could rest their confidence in him, but the father had a different view altogether. If there was anything peculiar about his son, he was yet to notice it. He was extravagant with signs of truancy. No villager knew or noted those salient characteristics that could ruin anyone's reputation. There was no need to praise him. Esume, in his 50s, was still solid and cussed. He was tall, slim with a long face and a pointed nose facing the sky, and so fair in complexion like a mulatto that many accused his mother of an illicit affair with one of the Germans during colonization. Nothing pained Esume more than the thought that he could genuinely be an offspring of the German colonialist. Even more disturbing, his father had forced him to name his son after the German. Therefore, an accusation he could hardly deny considering that his father was a close associate with one of the German colonialists even though he had more difficulty understanding the German language than other villagers. The ability to speak fluently to people is usually wrongfully attributed to intelligence. Villagers may have erroneously used the same measure on Esume's father, whose grandchild Smith was very different. Everyone wondered how Smith was so intelligent because he was a replica of his grandfather physically, who was best at hunting and fishing. Perhaps the white men loved him because he mastered the forest and could accompany them in any part. Even though Smith was already in secondary school like his peers, they were troubled that their village elementary school had folded up immediately. The Germans lost ground in Africa. After slavery had destroyed every fabric of the people's culture, there were hardly any established means of educating children and passing down information. Once the conquest of Africa began again, the Germans built schools in various communities. Budun was one such village with a fully functional school, probably because of the tough resistance Chief Nkapi opposed the German rule characterized by forced labor and iron-fisted. However, when the German rule ended abruptly, there were no teachers, no incentives, and the will to run them eroded due to the British administrative policies. Children in their village had to do approximately 8 kilometers daily to attend the Catholic school Ekabom Kokoboma, the only primary school in the area that served about 10 villages. Too many pupils made teaching extremely difficult. In a school of about 700 pupils, girls and boys, only the head teacher and one other were grade 2 trained, 2 were grade 3, and 4 were hand-picked by the Parents-Teachers Association. With their catechist salaries, which they hardly received on time, a teacher, including the head teacher, had to teach at least 2 classes. Consequently, the willingness to attend and, due to age limitations, many were denied admission. Most schools didn't apply the age limit method. Instead, they use height as a measure not to admit some pupils. This eliminated many pupils who had the age but were short or suffered retardation. At the resumption of school, most parents dropped their children at school. Still, distance and time often prevented parents from distant areas from coming to accompany their children to school, especially parents from remote environments. And distance notwithstanding, Esume always felt his responsibility was to ensure his son met up with every parental obligation. Nevertheless, Smith disliked that his father won't give him his fee as other parents did but preferred to come and make the payment. Some parents often sent their children ahead for 2 reasons: either they had yet to sell their cash crops, cocoa, or coffee. or they had yet to receive payment for what they had sold. It was 2 weeks more to start sending students away for fees. The school circulated a notice, and Smith was sincerely worried about what caused his father's delay. Back at home, Esume prepared for the anticipated visit. He left home that early morning and trekked for about 2 miles on a scanty stretch of untarred road recently dug by a timber-exploiting company. October signaled the end of the rainy season and the beginning of the dry season. During this period of rain, the road was so muddy, marshy, and full of potholes that few drivers could ply the route. Coincidentally, most of the drivers on the Kumba Mamf road were Nigerians during the colonial period and post-independence days with fashionable names on their lorry trucks: Man No Rest, Satan Must Obey God, and Spaceman.